For most of 2021, we've been planning a long December RV trip out west, but due to battery problems and a blown Class T fuse, we were delayed a few days on our start. With COVID and other supply issues, finding a Class T fuse available on short notice proved impossible. The only thing I could find available without waiting a week or more was an A&L type, which is not designed to interchange or fit in the Class T fuse holder. I don't advise modification of fuses, as burn time can be very different between circuit protective devices, even of the same ratings. Class T fuses, they're fast acting, and the A&L, well, it's a little bit slower to open on a fault, which could damage the wiring or my electrical system. I can wait a week or more, or I can clear the fault and compare characteristics. Call it fate or whatever you want. The delay turned into fortune, at least for us, as there were over 70 tornadoes spawned between December 10th and 11th, right in the area where we would have been staying if we had not been delayed. The devastation and damage was apparent miles before we even got near Mayfield on the 12th. Trees broken, twisted, roofs missing. We wanted to stay out of Mayfield proper, but it didn't really matter as the sheer scale of the destruction was so widespread. It was everywhere, and it was complete. We stopped at what had been a Dollar General store to consider other routes. Mother Nature's fury, though, it's difficult to understand. Two houses side by side, less than 100 feet apart. One is totally destroyed and off of the foundation. The other, there's barely a shingle out of place. Consider these shelves inside this Dollar General store. The winds, they were strong enough to twist and bend the steel beams, rip away the roof and the walls, but left the bottles undisturbed right on the shelves. There were telephone poles snapped clean in half like toothpicks. And this church, half blown off of the foundation, the other half still there. You can see the nails that were used to secure the sills to the concrete. Sad. And this is all that's left of the church's daycare. The concrete block walls offered zero protection. I'm glad no one was inside at the time. We have to stop and pause as our thoughts and prayers go out to those who've lost loved ones here, realizing that they still have to face the struggle of winter, their losses, and the challenge of rebuilding their lives. I hope you'll keep them in your thoughts too. Continuing on, Jill sets up the camera to capture the bridges that we have to cross over the Mississippi and Ohio rivers at Cairo. The longest bridge is more than 5,000 feet long, but being built in the 1920s, it's only 20 feet wide. This makes me nervous crossing it in this big old bus of an RV. I'm praying I don't meet one of those many semis that I've passed on the way up here on Highway 51. Legend has it that in 1956, a student pilot from a nearby Air Force base, he wanted to fly under the bridge, which is only 114 feet above the water, and that's only at the highest point. Anyway, he pulled a loop under and over the bridge, and on his second pass, he had misjudged his distance. He was in line to hit the bridge and dropped so low as to skim the water. This damaged the wings of the plane and the outer 12 inches of the propellers. After confessing to the cause of the damage, it seems he was removed from his flight training. From Cairo, we still have 3 hours of driving before we reach Willow Springs and find a place to park for the night. We passed several RV parks, advertising for the Ozarks or other great adventures. Some appeared to be tired, a mix of mobile homes and RVs that have been resting for quite some time, it seems, and some where close friendships have surely developed, based on how close the lots were anyway. We were happy to find the campground at Willow Springs, just off of the highway, Kimber, the owner, and her sister recently bought what appears to be an old KOA campground and are bringing it back to life. The park was clean. Our site had new 50-amp hookup, water, and sewer. Kimber, who also lives in the campground, was more than friendly and even gave us firewood for the fire pit. We would definitely stay here again. Another convenient thing about the campground at Willow Springs is that the local Tractor Supply has propane, and it's not that far away. We stopped in, filled up the tank, and then headed out on the road for Route 66 in Oklahoma. Guys, I hope the new year finds you safe and well. Travel safely, be a good human, and keep those less fortunate in your thoughts and prayers. See you in Oklahoma.